Vail. This is
Do,
vailychat.
re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Do, re, mi, fa, so. Okay. Yeah, I think my vocal cords are sufficiently stretched. We're definitely ready to roll.
I mean, you got to be warmed up for this one.
Yeah.
But seriously, if you look outside today, the weather out there is just wild.
Oh, it's classic Rocky Spring. You know, you pack away your winter coat and then nature just decides to humble you completely.
Exactly. I was literally just joking that the swings we're seeing in the Eagle River Valley right now, I mean, it's chaotic. And honestly, today's stack of sources is just a perfect reflection of that chaos. It's got a certain charm to it, right?
Chaos and charm. That is the perfect way to describe valley life.
Totally. Well, welcome to your May 6 vailychat deep dive. Today we are exploring the extreme environmental contrasts of the Eagle River Valley. And, we're looking at how this community doesn't just survive these extremes, but absolutely thrives through like a massive cultural and social resilience.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating dynamic to unpack.
It really is. So here's the roadmap for you today. We've got a stripped three-part structure. First, we're diving into the wild weather whiplash on the roads and in the water supply. Then, we're looking at a massive $23 million testament to community spirit. And finally, how the valley manages to keep the lights on and the laughs rolling during that notorious spring shoulder season.
Which is so important because, before you can even enjoy the community and the culture, you have to actually navigate the physical environment. And as of this morning, the terrain was really putting up a fight.
Oh, it was a total mess. And that brings us right into Act 1. The contrast today is just startling. Like, on one hand, we had this massive snow closure on Interstate 70 this morning.
Right.
And on the other hand, a severe water shortage happening down in Minturn.
Yeah, talk about whiplash.
Right. So looking at the sources, sudden snowfall and just terrible driving conditions forced the total closure of the eastbound lanes over Vail Pass this morning. And they only just managed to get the pass reopened at 10:08 a.m.
Which, requires a massive logistical mobilization. You're paying overtime, you're burning fuel, deploying salt and sand to clear ice at 10,000 feet. They were basically treating a morning in May like it's the middle of January.
Exactly. But then, meanwhile, literally just down in the valley, Minturn's town council is meeting today, like May 6, today, and they are navigating a stage 3 water shortage and enacting new water restrictions.
And we should probably clarify for the listener, stage 3 is not just a polite request to maybe water your lawn a little less.
Right. No, it's not a suggestion. It's severe.
Very severe. It's heavy fines for violations. We're overhauling the pricing structures to penalize excess use, outright bans on outdoor watering. It fundamentally alters daily life.
Yeah.
And they have to do this to protect the local watershed because, the region is facing a historic hydrological deficit.
Right. And the projected peak of this drought in June and July is expected to cover, 95% of the state?
Yeah, a staggering 95%.
Okay.
It's almost the entire map.
Which is just insane to me. The analogy I keep coming back to is it's like Colorado is a house with a completely broken thermostat. Like, the roof is freezing over with snow blocking I-70, but the basement in Minturn is just completely parched.
That's actually a really great way to visualize it.
But how does a region even reconcile that? How do you manage a snowplow budget on the pass while you are literally rationing water in the valley? It doesn't make sense. Like, how does a localized snowstorm not just solve a water shortage?
Well, because a single weather event, even a heavy one, doesn't reverse a systemic deficit. You have to look at the whole winter. We had an incredibly dry season, right? Followed by these record early meltouts. So when the snow melts too early, the soil is exposed to the sun and wind for weeks longer than normal.
So the ground just dries out.
Exactly. The ground beneath becomes parched. It acts like a giant bone-dry sponge.
So the snow from this morning's storm, when it melts, it's not flowing into the reservoirs.
Barely any of it. It's immediately absorbed by that thirsty topsoil. Very little will actually reach the Eagle River or the intake valves for Minturn. So you have emergency teams fighting winter storms up high, while utility directors are bracing for a catastrophic summer drought down below.
It requires such a hyper-agile approach to management. And, it makes me think, when the physical environment is this volatile, your social infrastructure has to be rock solid. You can't have a fragile community in a fragile ecosystem.
No, you really can't. And that actually bridges us perfectly into Act 2, because we saw a massive testament to that social infrastructure today in Edwards.
Yes, the groundbreaking of the St. Clair of Assisi Church expansion. And the numbers here are just wild. 600 people showed up today on a Wednesday
Right.
for a groundbreaking ceremony.
Which is incredible turnout.
It is. And this marks the near completion of a $23 million capital campaign. The goal here is to build permanent homes for the Catholic community in Edwards and Gypsum. And crucially, it means moving Mass out of the current St. Clair Gymnasium and building a brand new church at St. Mary's to serve that booming population out west.
Right, and moving from a gymnasium into a dedicated sanctuary, I mean, that is a profound psychological milestone for any congregation.
Oh, absolutely. But wait, I want to push back on this just a little bit because we literally just talked about a historic drought, and we know there are intense economic pressures right now. Housing is crazy. Raising $23 million in this climate is a massive flex of community commitment. I mean, is this a sign of folks just digging their heels in against all this environmental and economic anxiety?
I think you hit the nail on the head. You have to look at the specific dynamics of a resort valley. You know, these towns are structurally designed to be temporary. People come for a ski season, they work, they leave. The architecture is all rentals and modular housing.
Yeah, the economy is built on people just passing through.
Exactly. But over the last decade, the permanent working and middle-class populations have been pushed down valley to places like Edwards and Gypsum. So when that displaced population raises $23 million,
Which is a huge amount of money.
right, and they turn out 600 people on a random Wednesday, it's not just about a building, it's an anchor. It's a highly calculated statement.
They're saying, we aren't leaving.
Yes. They're telling the local government and the resort industry, we are a rooted, multi-generational population. It provides tangible psychological stability regardless of what the snowpack is doing.
Man, that is so powerful. It's like a structural defense mechanism for the community's identity. But, you know, a $23 million building is just one kind of anchor. I want to shift into Act 3 here and look at what fills the void on a day-to-day basis, like when the ski list actually stops spinning.
Yes. The shoulder season, or as the locals lovingly call it, mud season.
Mud season, exactly. And for you listening, if you aren't familiar, shoulder season is that awkward shift between the end of ski season and summer. The snow is melting, the trails are too muddy to hike, and a resort town can feel really empty. But the sources show the valley is actively fighting that hollow feeling with this vibrant spring arts and culture scene.
Which is so critical for community connection.
It really is. Like over at Vail Mountain School, they have 47 middle school students prepping for a production of Matilda the Musical.
Which is no small feat. Getting 47 middle schoolers coordinated for a massive theatrical production requires so much parental and community involvement. It forces families to interact and build sets during a time when they might otherwise just leave town.
Right. It keeps the kids engaged. It keeps the parents engaged. And for the adults, Avon's Northside Coffee is doing something super clever. They're hosting Wine for Rookies classes every Thursday through June 4.
That's a perfect example of microeconomic adaptability.
How so?
Well, a coffee shop is typically a daytime business, right? By pivoting to host an evening wine class during the slowest weeks of the year, they are capturing local disposable income that would otherwise just sit there. They're giving residents a reason to leave the house.
That makes total sense. But the real heavyweight event in our sources today is the Vail Comedy Festival. Massive event, Memorial Day weekend, May 22 to 24. They've got headliners like Tom Thacker, Casey Balsham, Nick Vatterott, and Robbie Slowick.
It's a really stacked lineup.
It is. And it's not just stand-up. They have this film at Vail Component screening a film called Tommy Hoarder to reduce mental health stigma in the arts, plus a free family magic show by Travis Nye.
And we really need to look at the broader implication of a comedy festival on Memorial Day.
Right, because Memorial Day is tricky with the weather.
Exactly. Memorial Day is supposed to be the start of summer, but as we saw in the past today, high-altitude weather in May is unpredictable. If your economy relies purely on outdoor hiking, a late spring blizzard will devastate your local businesses.
So the festival acts as an economic bridge.
Yes, it's an indoor, weatherproof, high-density event. You are bringing in people who do not care if the mountain is covered in mud or snow. They just want to sit in a theater and laugh. It provides a vital boost to restaurants and hotels, and it stabilizes employment for the wait staff and bartenders during that tricky transition.
And it's highly walkable too, right? The sources mentioned it encourages e-bike use.
Yeah, they integrate with the Shift e-bike program. And when an event is walkable, it fundamentally changes consumer behavior. People aren't just driving from their hotel to the venue and leaving. They're on foot or on an e-bike, browsing retail windows, stopping for coffee.
Grabbing a drink between sets.
Exactly. The velocity of money circulating through street-level businesses just skyrockets compared to when people are stuck in cars.
It's honestly like a cultural crop rotation. When the snow melts and the skiers leave, the middle school singers and the wine rookies and the comedians bloom to keep the whole ecosystem alive. And I want you, the listener, to think about your own community for a second. Like, what fills the void during your off seasons? What keeps your town humming when the main attraction is closed?
It's a great question because what we're seeing in the Eagle River Valley isn't just entertainment, it's intentional community design.
Absolutely. Well, let's quickly recap the journey we went on today. We started with the wild reality of spinning out on a snowy Vail Pass while Minturn braces for a historic drought. Then we saw 600 people uniting to build a $23 million church. And finally, we looked at this thriving cultural scene that acts as a vital economic shock absorber.
It really paints a picture of a highly self-aware region. They know the physical risks are there, and their response is just to aggressively reinforce their social foundation.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to mull over. If a community can raise $23 million, stage musicals, and host national comedy festivals, all while staring down a drought that's expected to impact 95% of the state, what else are these mountain towns capable of redefining in the face of our shifting global climate?
It makes you rethink the whole concept of a resort town.
It really does. It makes you wonder if the ultimate resort town export isn't tourism at all, but a masterclass in adaptability. I mean, we could all take notes. Well, if you love this deep dive as much as we loved unpacking it for you, you have to like, subscribe, and follow the vailychat page. Keep those sources coming, and we'll keep diving deep. See you next time.